Hi, I'm Ryan Szymanski, curator for Battleship New Jersey Museum and Memorial. And today we've got some special footage for you in another picture's worth 1,000 words. In this case, it's a moving picture. But we recently rediscovered some footage of the ship, of the interior of the ship in the 1980s. One of our volunteers brought us a couple of DVDs that had been made from an original VHS that has since deteriorated to the point that it isn't usable anymore. That footage made on board the ship. We believe it was filmed in or for the ship's TV studio, because it looks very similar to some of the Battle Rock footage that we have also seen elsewhere. But it's got some of those rare looks at the inside of the ship while the ship is active and in service during our period of interpretation. So the sailor who donated this footage served on board from 1984 to 1987. We don't specifically know when this footage was from, and he couldn't remember, was it from earlier, was it from later. So this is my first time watching these clips right now, so maybe we'll be able to tell from that. Otherwise, hopefully we're going to find some new ideas for interpreting interior parts of the ship. Maybe we'll see some areas where the museum got it right when we started restoring spaces. And maybe we'll see some areas where there's room for improvement, which is also great. I love having new research that's going to show us this sort of stuff. We are going to watch one of 6 videos that we have, and they vary in length. Some of them are over an hour long, some of them are just a couple of minutes. This one's one of the shorter ones, just a teaser, but in the future we'll bring you some footage from some other ones. And like I said earlier, this is my first time watching it, so bear with me. Let's get started. Starting off with some great footage of the ship sailing into the sunset. There's Ticonderoga and Oliver Hazard Perry class ships in our escort. It looks like they are in line ahead of us, which means we're probably about to sail into a harbor. Not sure what that landmass is. Oh, there's a couple of Russian ships. Looked like a Sverdlov destroyer, a Bear bomber. I'm not sure what that frigate was. Oh, is that a backfire, a Hind? Wow, we are getting quite the flyby. Oh, if we're getting all this footage of Russian ships, then this is probably when we went into the Bear's Lair and New Jersey snuck into the Sea of Oshkosh. That would make sense if that footage, if that landmass that we got in the sunset is the Kamchatka Peninsula, or one of those islands there that's part of Sakhalin and that archipelago north of Japan. So right there we might have been able to date these. Assuming I'm correct about this being us sailing north, that would be in 1986, which falls within the possible dates here. And just a quick recap before we get back to the footage. What we're looking at here could potentially be September 1986. The Reagan administration is doing some of their brinksmanship operations, and one of those was to prove that the U.S. Navy could operate in the restricted waters around the Soviet Union. This is part of that freedom of navigation stuff. And because Russia borders the Sea of Oshkosh on 3 different sides, that area had been largely off limits to U.S. ships. So New Jersey is going around making radio chatter, then she goes to full MCOM, which means that she's not transmitting anything, radio, radar, anything like that, and kind of detaches from other ships that she's with. Those ships continue to transmit, so the Russians continue to track them, and New Jersey sneaks into the Sea of Oshkosh, and apparently, according to crew members, that stirred up quite the hornet's nest, which might be why we're seeing backfires and bears and Sverdlovs, which is their premier anti-ship warship, and a couple of other Russian assets here. I didn't quite recognize what that corvette is, but that corvette wouldn't be too far from land. It doesn't have a huge area, a huge range that it can operate at, so it makes sense that we'd be right near the Northern Fleet bases. Also explains why there's so many sailors around taking pictures and why we've got footage in the first place. It certainly explains why this is historic. Yeah, there's that Sverdlov again. Looks like a couple of bears flying in. I can't tell what that frigate is. Looks like they're doing some sort of washdown. Yeah, there's a mountainous landmass in the background, which could be the Kamchatka Peninsula. Okay, now we've got footage of New Jersey from the helicopter, presumably. Here it is, the other side of the ship. This footage is a little grainy to get any good detail. Oh, there she is firing her guns with the other ships lying abreast behind her. Oh, this is that great footage. It's done specifically as a publicity stunt where they fire the guns off both sides simultaneously, specifically to get pictures from the helicopter. And these pictures are pretty famous. You've undoubtedly seen them before, if not in our advertising material, then in any pictures of the ship. So that also helps us date these. We're pretty sure this happens on 11 October 1986. So again, time frame works out. If we're in the Bears Lair in September, it gives us time to come back to, this happened off the coast of Seattle, Washington, if I remember correctly. So that gives us time to make it back across the Pacific to Seattle in time for the appointment in this footage. Okay, here she is. Sailing line astern again, more helicopter footage of the ship. She still doesn't have the drone-controlled dome, so that also tends to put it earlier in her 80s commission. Wow, she looks really fantastic. I don't see a single rust streak on her hull. There's some more footage of that broadside. Looks like the same footage, just cut in a second time. But man, she looks really fantastic, especially if we're correct and she's just been in the Western Pacific and now sailed all the way back. Okay, here we've got some family members in cruise mess. We're looking at the port side of the forward mess deck. Interesting, we've got those chairs painted gray. It appears like they're blue in these pictures. That artwork is still there. Here we've got some sailors coming down the chow line. They're in their dress uniforms, and it looks like they've got some dependents with them. So I'm wondering, this could either be a Tiger cruise, it could be a holiday party sort of thing. They've got some decorations hanging there on the bulkhead. Looks like maybe it's supposed to be a paper pumpkin. Man, having this footage of the interior of the ship in use, so awesome. Okay, let's see, we got potatoes. Looks like we got some soup there. Can't quite tell what the meat is. Pretty good dessert tray. Oh, there's a cornucopia there. So my guess is this would be Thanksgiving dinner. Oh, well, there it says Happy Thanksgiving. Man, I'm good. Am I the world's greatest curator or what? Here we are in Chief's Mess. Oh, fantastic. There's some further proof that those brown captain's chairs are what was in Chief's Mess. Here we've got some footage inside the scullery. Them putting trays through the dishwasher. Here we've got somebody turning his dishes into the scullery. Boarding a helicopter here on the fantail. probably a Sea King, CH-47, or CH-46, excuse me. That might have been photographers boarding the helicopter and now the helicopter orbiting the ship to take pictures. This does appear like a different time of day of the other flyby pictures that they took. Here she is with Long Beach, and maybe that's Camden or Sacramento. And there's a Spruance-class destroyer. 2 sprue cans. Looks like there's a Perry bringing up the rear. So this, I think, is the famous picture of Battle Group Romeo that we often see. Great footage of the entire battle group sailing together. Again, I'm really impressed with how clean all of these ships look. Here we got a guy putting his cranial on. Again, photographer's made, so you can see they've got cameras all over them. Either that or they're tourists. There's a row of Perrys with all of their Lamps helicopters flying by in formation. Well, actually, one of those might be a Brooks or a Garcia. Okay, so a mix of frigates. Here we got some of the cameramen in the helicopter taking pictures out one of the windows. South Korea flag over a lighthouse. All right, so in this section of footage, there is some voiceover that references the Spartan program, a football coach named Rich Allen, and the ship's commanding officer, Richard Milligan. Captain Milligan is in command of the ship from late '83 up until 1985. So it seems like we've got a bunch of footage from different time periods mashed together in this video. This seems to be more like a news clip about the ship than something that was produced on board. Richard Allen was a football coach who was appointed by President Reagan to be in charge of a fitness program. He comes up with the Spartan program, which in this case has funded some gym equipment for Battleship New Jersey. And they're showing some B-roll footage of the Marine gym, which is up on the O3.
Stressed with the Spartan program and made easier with the installation of new exercise equipment.
Recently, on board the USS New Jersey, retired football coach George Allen assisted the ship's skipper, Captain Richard Milligan, in a ribbon-cutting ceremony that marked the installation of brand-new multi-station weight training equipment. As chairman of the President's Council on Physical Fitness, George Allen is a strong supporter of regular exercise programs.
Fitness has been my life in coaching, and I believe in it. I think that if you don't work out regularly, it's very difficult to be successful in any endeavor.
The crew of the New Jersey will soon be putting the equipment to good use as they participate in the Navy's newest shipboard physical fitness program, an aerobic weight training workout called Spartan. Major muscle groups are developed and cardiorespiratory systems enhanced as the sailors go through a series of exercises in quick succession. The Spartan regimen is not yet a Navy-wide program, but Navy officials expect it will catch on fast.
I'm sure that once most of our commanding officers have seen the good effect of this type program on morale, efficiency, that they will be more than ready to implement a program such as this on a non-mandatory basis.
And how does the crew of the New Jersey feel about this program and the new equipment?
Working out is a part of military life and expected to stay in shape and maintain a good appearance as well as level of physical fitness. And we put a lot of emphasis on that. This is really going to benefit us in that way because it makes the maximum use out of the small amount of space that it is.
While the research and implementation of the Spartan program has centered around West Coast ships, the Navy is planning to extend it to the East Coast in the near future. Reporting for Navy Video News on board the USS New Jersey.
I can't quite tell from this footage. I think it's the Marine gym that's up on the O3 level in the former 40mm clipping room that's now under the phalanxes. That gym, unfortunately, is gutted. It could also be the sailor gym that was put in the ship's brig when that was removed. Or we have blueprints that show that there was supposed to be a gym put in one of the former 16-inch magazines. We believe that did happen on some of the Iowa-class battleships. We assumed it did not happen on New Jersey because she had gyms in other places. Now, interestingly, this does contradict what we previously thought, that the gym equipment was bought out of the Welfare and Morale Fund. So it seems like through this separate Spartan program, they were able to fund at least one of the ship's gyms. Regardless, all of the gym equipment was completely removed from the ship. So this footage is some of the best idea we have of what equipment was on board, since that stuff is no longer here. So again, this is just 1 out of 6 DVDs worth of footage that we've found recently. It's my first time seeing it, and seeing this footage does help us narrow it down. It has taught us new things about the ship. We've gotten to see some new interior spaces, like one of the ship's gyms and the chow line in use, as well as some possible footage of the ship in the Sea of Oshkosh. So really cool and historic stuff that you'll probably see cut into future YouTube videos that we produce. Now, since this was a fraction of the total of what we have, what's something you're hoping to see in the future? I'm hoping to see other interior shots of the ship, especially CEC. If we could get some footage of what CEC looked like in service, I would lose my mind. Let us know in the comment section down below. Battleship New Jersey receives operating support from the New Jersey Department of State, also from a number of other businesses and private individuals like yourselves. We really appreciate your support. There's a link in the description below for ways you can donate to support the museum. It allows us to take the time to do this sort of research to find new stuff about the ship. You can also support us by liking, sharing, and subscribing so more people find about us and the channel.